Hi, this is Beth Sample. Welcome to my Instructional Technology Capstone Project Overview. I am a student at Kennesaw State University. In May of 2022, I will graduate with an Educational Specialist degree in Instructional Technology. I have already passed my GACE, so I'm excited to have Instructional Technology added to my teaching certificate. I currently teach 10th and 12th grade English at Evans High School in Evans, Georgia. I work with the Senior Student Council, Homecoming Committee, Prom Committee, Graduation Committee, and I am also a proud sponsor of the Evans High School Marching Knights, Color Guard, and Majorette Squad. I have been married to my husband John for 30 years. I have 2 children, Jackson, who is 26 and is currently attending culinary school, and Anne, who will be 21 very soon, and she is attending East Georgia to become an elementary school teacher. I'm very proud of both of them. The title of my capstone project is Digital, Novel, and Grammar Resources for the Evans High School Literature Department. The goal of my capstone project was to replace the English department's online resources at Evans High School. The English department was slated to adopt new textbooks during the 2020-2021 academic year. The literature books currently used are 16 years old. Unfortunately, due to COVID and the pandemic's effects on our county's budget, the literature textbook adoption has been postponed for at least 2 years. Book adoption is a long and time-consuming process, not to mention the exorbitant cost of printed textbooks. The Columbia County Literature Departments will not see new textbooks for at least 3 years in a realistic estimation. Unfortunately, as of December 31st, 2020, the access to online teacher and student resources that accompanied our textbooks expired. The audio versions, online books, lesson plan generator, and test prep tools are no longer functional. The loss of these resources has added another layer of difficulty to teaching students virtually, as well as our in-person students. Learn from home students were not assigned textbooks, nor could they access the online digital tools that accompanied our books. Students who returned for face-to-face instruction were not issued textbooks because we did not issue lockers due to COVID protocols. The Capstone project is designed to help teachers develop digital activities to embed into their Google Classrooms with access to audiobooks and online versions of the literary pieces required by our various curriculum areas. The website will initially focus on world literature curriculum, which is our 9th and 10th grade literature classes, and then add American literature resources, followed by senior project, British literature, and multicultural literature. After a trial for the world literature is completed, other curriculum areas will be added. Creating these online lessons will allow all students, virtual and in person, to use, study, and remediate activities at home. Grammar support and tools for writing-focused lessons will also be embedded in the webpage. The project aims to create a digital resource to replace the online textbook resources that expired in December of 2020. Once the resource page is published, teachers will use the resources to develop engaging in-person and virtual instruction lessons. The main objectives for the project are to create online resources for the ELA departments to develop digital lessons to increase in-person and virtual student learning. My project was divided into 3 parts. Part 1 was to research literature resource tools based on the wants and needs of the world literature teachers. Part 2 was planning and developing professional development sessions, demonstrating how to create lessons using the new resource page. And number 3, working with teachers to develop engaging technology-rich lessons to increase student engagement. Putting my capstone project in action took a lot of time, effort, and I really had to learn how to stay out of the proverbial internet rabbit hole. Part 1 of my capstone project is research and design. Step 1, teacher surveys. I created Google Forms asking teachers very simply, what do you want and need to plan digital lessons? Next step was to research digital online resources and tools based on the wants and needs of the 10th grade teachers. Step 3, build and design the digital webpage. To do this, I used Google Sites to create a user-friendly webpage that all of our teachers could access. Step 4, the research and design plan, was collaborating with colleagues for a trial run using the digital resource page to iron out the kinks. Collaborating with my colleagues and my co-teacher to plan lessons helped me see that taking potential user skill set into account when developing resources is crucial. Working with other teachers to test my product gave them a voice in the resource designed for them. Educators say that students need to have ownership in or of their education. The same can be said for teachers. This process taught me a great deal about being an effective coach and instructional leader. Part 2 of my capstone is training and professional development. It may sound cliche, but I discovered a very important lesson when developing practical, authentic, and beneficial professional development sessions. They require very extensive planning and forethought. When creating the PLC sessions, I wanted to make sure that they concentrated on what the teacher wanted and what they needed to know. To do this, I surveyed them beforehand to understand how extensive the sessions needed to be and what areas they wanted to focus and spend the most time on. I relied on information that I had learned from my professional learning and instructional coaching class. I remembered how important it is to treat teachers as the experts that you are collaborating with, not telling them how to do something and telling them what is right and wrong. To find out what they needed to know from the professional development sessions, I created 3 surveys. The first one I sent to them beforehand with an extensive description of what we would be doing in each professional development session, along with a link to the digital resource page so they could see what was available and let me know what they already knew how to use and what they had questions about. After the sessions, I sent out another survey that asked them what they thought about the professional development session. For an honest opinion, I included everything from content delivery to refreshments and snacks, because refreshments and snacks are always very important to teachers and can make or break a professional development session. The next survey I sent out asked what they thought did they think the session was beneficial for them as well as their students. I wanted to make sure that in doing the professional development, the teachers thought their voice was heard and they were actually learning from the sessions. Part 3 of the Capstone project is implementation. Following the professional development sessions, teachers were given the opportunity to create lessons and activities using the new web page and embed them into their Google Classrooms. We met one-on-one as well as in grade level meetings to go over lesson ideas, brainstorm, and work together to make sure that we were creating engaging lessons for our students. Once those lessons were created, we observed one another and even co-taught with one another, ironing out any kinks in our lesson plans, making sure that our students were engaged and standards were being met. My Capstone project had 2 requirements as part of an evaluation plan. The first one was that 3 out of 5 world literature teachers will create, embed, and teach one lesson developed with the digital resource page. The evaluation tool for this would be weekly lesson plans and class observations. The second requirement for my evaluation plan was that at least 50% of students will show a positive reaction to the lesson. The evaluation tool for this, students will complete an end of lesson or end of course survey on engagement and lesson understanding. The overall evaluation results for my capstone project were very positive. All 5 teachers in 10th grade used the digital resource page to create, embed, and teach at least one lesson and add that lesson to their Google Classroom. 53% of the students gave positive feedback on the engagement level of the lessons created with the digital resource tool. Creating this resource page for the World Literature curriculum was a success. Student engagement increased, and teachers found the site easy to use. Teachers and students found authentic and relevant benefits from the lessons and activities developed with the new technology. I was very excited and glad that the experience was positive for everyone involved. Looking back at my capstone project, the only downside is I was not expecting Columbia County to implement a new policy concerning the use of digital resources. This vetting process is still in the beginning stages of implementation, so I'll have to wait and see how it will affect my resource pages' further development. Surprisingly, the most significant barrier I anticipated was a lack of teacher buy-in and receptiveness to my project. My colleagues were very open to using the resource page and offered valuable, beneficial feedback and commentary, which helped redefine the tools and the add-on. Their willingness to help with this project was greatly appreciated. Implementing my capstone digital resource page was frustrating, overwhelming, but ultimately worthwhile all the work in the end. It was a genuine learning experience. I've learned and grown as a technology coach and a leader in my school through the Capstone and Kennesaw State experience. While completing this project, I wore many hats. I was a researcher, a data analysis, a web designer, a technology guru, a troubleshooter, a teacher, a student, a coach, a facilitator, a sounding board, and a cheerleader. At times, I was even my own worst enemy. Through it all, I hope I've become a better teacher, planner, and hopefully one day a better coach when the opportunity arrives. Well, it does look like with the new vetting process All in all, that's okay. My revamped webpage is under construction. It is still a work in progress, and I will definitely have it ready for next school year. I've enjoyed everything I've done with Kennesaw, and it has definitely been a learning experience.
Created using Powtoon.